Welcome to another installment of T.A.G Me In, where the triple threat brain trusts a tag over the good, the bad, and everything in between in the world of professional wrestling. I, of course, am the unofficially official Lip Dizzle, joined with none other than Big Van Scoot Vader.
Because it's time. It's
time.
Time.
It's time.
It's Vader time.
Sir.
What up? What up? What up? What up, though?
One of the underrated big men.
Yes, very much so.
In actually, WCW, I don't know.
Shout out to my brother Mike. It's funny because when we was talking about it, when he got inducted into the Hall of Fame, we was like, wow, we cannot believe how much we used to like fan out over Vader. And I was like, especially when he was in Boy Meets World, it was like, yo, is that Vader? Like, what is happening? You know,
same reaction. Same.
Definitely.
It was so funny that I thought that was like his real son when I watched the show.
Right. Somebody had said that he should have been the one to induct him into the Hall of Fame.
You know what? And you know he's super fit now too.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like that would have been interesting.
It would have been. But yeah, so you know, I mean, it's been a minute, you know. Tag me in and all that, you know what I'm saying? Dizzle been holding down the channel, you know what I'm saying? Introducing that Dizzle moment. Check them out. Check it out.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People been busy, schedules and things. Dizzle had to hold down the channel like gravity, you know?
I mean, hey, look, I ain't the only one though, because even when I was gone, Scoot was out here holding it down.
Man,
like
we gotta
gravity.
We gotta hold this tag down. You know what I'm saying? We're a tag team for a reason. All them entendres saying. Bars.
I mean, you gotta look at it like this. I mean, you got to consider everything that we do individually, like solo films and like our Tag Me In and hot tags that we do are like the team up movies. So
exactly, you know what I'm saying? How y'all be fucking with the Marvel movies and shit?
Fuck with the tag movie.
Exactly.
Now I know we say the triple threat Triforce, but you know, there's only two of us right now. That's because Jaeger is out having a championship celebration.
Yeah, he's still celebrating. You know,
who knows where with who knows who.
You know, he probably too busy to deal with us. You know what I'm saying? He too busy celebrating his little victory. He squeaked out. You know,
he wasn't even in the conversation. Wasn't even in the conversation.
You know, at all. But you know, it's cool.
It is. I mean, look, right. Look, Jaeger, when you see this, just know transitional. That's the word. That's the word of the month. Transitional.
And I will be this channel's three-time champion. 3 times.
We ain't letting that shit happen. We can't.
3 times.
I'm not about to let somebody lap me like that.
Well,
no, sir.
Hope to build up to WrestleMania Backlash.
I hope it's good. Shit, that's the one thing. Hope it's good and not as predictable, because shit.
That is also true. Speaking of wrestling and predicting and all of that.
Oh, I love that segue.
Look, from last Friday up until Wednesday.
Oh, was that? Yeah.
There was a lot of wrestling.
Man.
Impact, Ring of Honor, GCW, Joey Janela, of course, WrestleMania, Ring of Honor, which we will talk about that in a minute. Dizzle gonna give some highlights of that. There was a lot of wrestling. We spent almost 2.5 hours alone talking about WrestleMania week. So definitely check that out. You know what I'm saying? It was Jaeger, Jugs, both of us. We spent a good time talking about everything WrestleMania. it was a lot of wrestling. So drop down below what you enjoyed by this past week in wrestling. You know, did you enjoy WrestleMania? Did you watch WrestleMania? Ring of Honor, Impact, GCW, little indie promotions, whatever you fucks with, let us know in the comments below, because it was a lot of wrestling. And I know for a fact I didn't have the time to watch it all.
Yeah, it was.
I wanna make time to go back and watch Supercard of Honor, but it was a lot of wrestling. You know what? Speaking of Supercard of Honor, let's go ahead and touch that first before we get into NXT and Dynamite. So, Dizzle, you got the opportunity to watch Supercard of Honor. So, how did it feel? Well, first and foremost, how did it feel to have Ring of Honor back?
It felt right. Now, of course, there were the rumors that even after Ring of Honor was shutting down shop, they still had stated they were going to do Supercard of Honor. So that in itself, we already pretty much knew.
That's true.
But going into it after the announcement that Tony Khan had purchased Ring of Honor, that's when it made the show feel a bit bigger. But there was also a little bit of confusion as to what was going to happen, because there was speculation that, you know, previous owners and those that were set to either showcase or work on Supercard of Honor didn't know if they were even going to be on the show. Mm-hmm. So there was that deal there. So nobody really knew exactly what the show was going to hold as a whole.
Okay.
And even going in, I think the only real thing that I knew for sure that I was going in to get was Briscoes versus FTR, as well as Jonathan Gresham versus Bandito. So
that's who Gresham fought. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they for basically winner takes all match.
Oh, okay. Now it makes sense why Gresham now has 2 belts. Mm-hmm. Spoiler
alert. So
okay.
So I'm only gonna speak from when I came in, because Jugs had to remind me. Jug sent me a message and he reminded me. It's like, hey, yo, you know, Supercard of Honor is going on. And I don't know if I thought it was a different fucking day, but I was WrestleMania mind. So I was like thinking about, oh shit, well, tomorrow is going to be NXT. Got to, you know, make sure I'm focused enough to watch that. So when I turned it on, I came in, it was in the middle of Mercedes Martinez and Willow Nightingale match.
Okay.
So I had missed quite a bit of the card so far, but it wasn't, I didn't miss the meat and potatoes of the card. So I had missed some of the stuff that happened with Tully Blanchard, Brian Cage. Brian Cage is now pretty much in a stable that was created by Tully Blanchard at this point. So we'll probably get more into that. So that's what Tully's doing since he's been fired from FTR. So Brian Cage now has somewhat of a prominent role. I don't know if it's going to carry over to AEW, but it damn sure will carry over to what's going on in ROH. So that's a good thing for him. Swerve had a match with Alex Zane. He won that match. I didn't see that. I was surprised to see that Dalton Castle was on the card.
Yeah.
So, and then of course Colt Cabana I think he was the first match, I believe. But when I came in the middle of the Mercedes Martinez and Willow Nightingale match, they were actually competing for the interim Ring of Honor women's championship.
Because the Honor still has it, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And so this match is what kind of started the trend of what would come to pass as what I thought was going to be an agenda-filled thing first, which I was kind of worried. So the match with Mercedes Martinez and Willow, it was an okay match. It wasn't like, you know, it wasn't the best, but it served its purpose. Mercedes Martinez, of course, is your ROH interim women's champion right now.
Okay, congrats.
So she's now, of course, doing something which is weird that it wasn't. Well, I mean, I understand why it was Mercedes Martinez. It's just weird that you wouldn't throw that bone to Ruby Soho.
Oh, Ruby. Oh, okay.
You know, especially with thinking about how, you know, she's talked about how she wants to win championships. I mean, this would give her something to do in the process. You know, give her an interim title and then give her a marquee match with Deonna Purrazzo, win or lose. So at least giving her something to work with up until, you know, she eventually gets into the tournament, Owen Hart tournament. So,
okay.
But
what about the accent? Do you think it would have been better if it was Ruby? Or since Ruby is kind of where she's at, it makes sense for it to be Mercedes.
No, it makes sense for it to be Mercedes. It would have made sense for it to be Ruby Soho. But as far as when you talk about Mercedes Martinez and Deonna Purrazzo, it makes sense in that because even commentary kind of built it up saying Mercedes Martinez is the one that actually has beaten Deonna Purrazzo.
Oh, okay.
So they're going with that storyline. So which I'm pretty sure Mercedes may not beat Deonna on that end, especially when they're building up. You know how that shit goes.
Yeah.
They'll talk about how they haven't beat this person. They end up getting beat by that person. So surprise me if you want to, AEW. I don't give a shit. Because Deonna Purrazzo is a good champion anyway. So who was another person that was disserviced by WWE. But then after that, like I tell you, I came right in time because after this match was FTR versus the Briscoes.
Okay. Yeah, that's what no, that was a co-main event?
No, it wasn't the co-main event. They had 2 other matches before the main event.
Really?
Yeah. That sandwiched this. And I know Cornette got mad about the fact that it was like, why wasn't this match higher on the card? Like, why did you have this, not either main event or co-main event? But
this was co.
Yeah, they pretty much what they did is they had all the title matches at the last half of the card.
Okay.
So when this match from the jump, I mean, you think about all the promo, and this is the self-made promos between the Briscoes and FTR.
Okay.
Commentary was on fire with this one. Like, and commentary was on fire throughout the entire show, just to keep it 100 on that one. But this match, the crowd, FTR should have been the heels in this one. Judging by them coming into ROH and just the whole deal with the Briscoes, of course, beloved by everybody.
Yeah.
They worked this match as neutrals. Like, they didn't give a shit if they worked heels at times or babyface at times, but either way, this match was non-fucking stop. Inside the ring, outside the ring, there was no downtime, and the fans were eating this up. This is one of the main reasons why I said that watching this and then going in next day to watch NXT did not stand a chance. Because this match alone, just for tag team, like this right here is probably one of my right now. I can tell you right now, this is my tag team match of the year. Period.
Okay. Even after what happened last night.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Absolutely, 110%. Last night was cool. Okay. Last night was good. They had good character work, but it's like when you think about just what the Briscoes bring to the table, which is why I think it's a disservice that TNT, TBS, or Turner Broadcasting in general is against having them on AEW. Because they deserve prime time television. Right. Absolutely. So it makes sense why FTR won these titles, because I think Briscoes would have been fantastic winning this match, but this match is what set up the match that we got last night on Dynamite, because right after the Briscoes lost, FTR basically gave them the stage. Like, they hugged it out. They allowed Briscoes to be in the ring and get chanted by the fans, and so FTR walked off. As soon as FTR walked off, Young Bucks come in, super kick both Mark J. Briscoe. And so then FTR comes back out, and then they, run off Young Bucks, and then that's what set up this match. And they were going to set it up for the Ring of Honor tag titles. And then Tony Khan was the one that said, no, it's going to be for both titles.
Okay. So I was wondering why all of a sudden both titles were on the line. Okay. So we go from there, and then we get a very short match. Rhett Titus versus Minoru Suzuki for the ROH television championship. I saw Suzuki won that.
Suzuki did win that. I hated that this match was so quick. Like, this match had no business being as quick as it was. But basically, it seemed like it was Yeah, the majority of the second half was all the Foundation members. So Rhett, Titus, and then of course you had Wheeler Yuta versus Josh Woods for the ROH Pure Championship. And this upped Wheeler Yuta stock. I didn't expect him to win. I expect him to have a good showing so that way he can be like carry on with the storyline with Regal and the Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect for him to win. And when he won, I was like, oh, we're definitely about to get some more story. Josh Woods, by the way. Josh Woods, give this man, look, either give him an AEW contract, give him some higher pay on ROH, whatever. Yeah. Josh Woods would honestly be fantastic in WWE as well.
Okay.
Yeah, Josh Woods, yes. Like, I mean, Rhett Titus is good too, but I'm saying like Josh Woods, just the look and the feel that he has is just fantastic. But they had a good showing, him and Wheeler Yuta for the Pure Championship, which I usually don't like these type of gimmick matches with the way they have things set up. But it's like, when you think about Pure Championship, it makes sense with the way that they go about it because it is purely wrestling. They have rules set in place that actually make sense.
Yeah, they have like rules and things like that. Okay.
Yeah, like it's not like how it was with damn, what was that championship in Impact?
Not the king. What the king? No, not the king of the mountain.
No.
Shit, the one they had kind of like MMA.
Where they had the judges and shit.
Hold on, I'm gonna look it up.
But yeah, it wasn't gimmick like that. It was gimmick in a point to where things actually made fucking sense. So, and it's not like it came down to like the judges. Like there were still pinfalls involved, which I actually do like. It's just there was a certain amount of rope breaks that you could have and all this other shit. Which is weird because I never paid attention to the Pure Championship because because I always assumed what it was gonna like, that it was like every other thing. So I never really cared. But I paid attention to this, and when I did, it just I felt bad because I should have been paying more attention to this in previous matches. So I'm actually gonna go back and I'm gonna watch them because I know there was a match between it may have been Josh. Oh no, I think it was with Jonathan Gresham and probably Jay Lethal, maybe.
Yeah.
Either way, I'll go back and I'll watch them just to give it the respect it deserves. But yeah,
Impact Grand title.
That's what it was. Yes. It's like, yeah, we don't need shit like that. It's like 24/7 championship. We don't need that. Jonathan Gresham
especially what they've been doing with the 24/7 championship picture. That's been all just
Dana Brooke.
It's more than that. I don't know if you've been keeping up with that. That has become almost a black hole.
I've heard about well, I haven't heard too much about the 24/7 championship. I've heard about the shit going on with Dana Brooke and
all right. So
what's his face?
Ever since Reggie got the belt, ever since Reggie had first got the title off of Truth, it's been stuck on him. Like you still had the people trying to chase him. You still had Truth trying to get his baby back and stuff. But then Dana Brooke got the title off of him. And he started to actually somebody else got the title. Then Dana Brooke got it. And when Dana Brooke got it, they was all like, oh, we're not gonna pin a woman. Like, oh, So then that started prompting Tamina going after Dana Brooke. So what happened was,
that's where she's been?
Yeah, she's been chasing Dana Brooke. So what happened was Reggie decided he was going to be like her protector in a sense because he know what it's like to be 24/7 champion being chased and this and the other. Fast forward, Dana Brooke and Reggie now have this relationship. Tamina and Tozawa have developed this relationship. Just recently, Reggie asked Dana Brooke to marry him. She said yes. Tozawa asked the same thing of Tamina. She said yes. Then they showed Truth in the background plotting. Like, oh, this might work in my favor.
Wow.
And this has been like the whole year. Every Monday, I think except for this past Monday, every year there has been some Reggie, Dana Brooke, Tamina, Tozawa segment dealing with the 24/7 title.
Bunch of nonsense.
A bunch of nonsense.
Okay.
The belt has lost all its luster after Truth lost it, to be perfectly honest.
I can see that.
Because it's been on either Reggie or Dana Brooke since sometime in the fall of last year. But yeah.
I'm glad I haven't been watching.
Yeah, but, I saw Jay Lethal's heel turn with Sanjay Dutt.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised even with the match itself, because I mean, not surprised about it because the match was a good match. Gave it a shitload of time, that's for damn sure. But I was surprised to see Chavo with Bandito, because he was trying to get Bandito to be more heelish. So that was part of the story there. The only reason it was weird to see Chavo was because of all the shit that we had heard about him not knowing that, you know, he was either let go from AEW and all this other shit. But here, lo and behold, here he is. So that was some good shit. And to watch him do his heel work during the match.
Yeah.
Because he was doing underhanded stuff without Bandito knowing. And that caused a nice dynamic. So Gresham picked up the victory.
Yeah.
And then you get Jay Lethal coming out and basically saying, yeah, you know, we're not going to send these people off with this. I know you want your moment, everything like that. But I think, you know, basically he was saying, like, you owe it to me to defend the championship.
Now, Sanjay Dutt, is he like an active wrestler, or is he some type of figurehead with the company or something? Or
at like, this point, that's what it seems, because I think he's pretty much carrying over the role that he had in WWE when he was over there. So
he was a producer that he.
Now I would hope that he's going to do some active in-ring stuff, because he was good in the ring, you know, and I'm pretty sure he can still go.
He was.
But as that was going on, of course, you get the turn from Sanjay Dutt, because it looked like he was breaking them up and then turn around. But I mean, you saw the recap on Dynamite.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you get Joe coming out. They let that breathe, because they had the fire going on the screens and everything like that. And it's like the music started playing. Nobody knew who it was. Because one, you can barely hear the music, right? And then he can't know his name. I don't think his name even popped up. I think he just walked the fuck out, and then his name popped up. And then after that, it was like, oh shit! Like I was popping hard for this shit. Like I'm sitting here just like, oh god, like, because it made sense. For one, I said holy shit maybe like 25 times, because I was like, thank you, because it's like, yeah, I wanted him in AEW, but to have like that, like if you were gonna bring Joe somewhere, this was the perfect place and time to do it. So yeah, and then he gave Jonathan Gresham his moment, and you know he walked because Lee Moriarty already came out. That's what it was. Lee Moriarty came out to help, and they beat down Lee Moriarty. Then that's when Joe came out, and so then Lee Moriarty, Joe, and Gresham pretty much celebrated in the ring, and that's how everything went off. And then we got the press conference where Joe pretty much laid out what he wanted. You know, because they asked him questions, and he just said, I'm trying to get both belts. It's like I don't care about anybody. It's like, you know, I respect, you know, people come here, they want to say they respect. I respect nobody until I see them in that ring. It's like, so that's what I'm looking for. It's like, you think you're the baddest? Come see me. Like he just basically laid it out, and I was like, this is the Joe I want. This is the Joe that I want.
We all want. Always.
Because and that's. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, that's the thing that WWE dropped the ball on, and I don't want to do the comparison thing, because I mean it's so easy to do that. But I mean it's clear in point, because I mean let's not even put the NXT stuff into play, because Triple H did a fantastic job with Joe in his first iteration of NXT. But
even when he came back the second time,
because it's just they didn't let it jump off. That's the only problem. But when he first debuted on the main roster, there was so much promise, because it seemed like they were doing something with him, Trips, and Kevin Owens. And then to fast forward from that point to the whole feud with Lesnar, that in itself was fantastic.
To this day, I truly feel like Joe should have won that match.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I don't think it was a thing with Brock. I think Brock would have been perfectly fine with dropping.
Yeah, I think it was just a WWE thing.
That's what I believe as well, because you couldn't tell me somebody who would be physically, legitimately, realistically able to take that title off of Brock at that point in time, because the only person they were looking at was Roman. Anybody else would have been somebody like, okay, maybe you got to convince me that this person can do this.
The fact that he showed no fear, none of that. He was like, Brock, we gonna tussle. We gonna do this, my guy.
Like, and for those of you who haven't seen that feud, that build, or that match, go, because I think it was
Great Balls of Fire.
Great Balls of Fire, yeah. Go and watch that shit. Just do yourself a favor. WWE Network, look at that whole month of build on Raw that they did, and then watch Great Balls of Fire, and just tell me Joe didn't deserve that title. But yeah, that was Super Card of Honor, and then I had to go and watch NXT and WrestleMania right after that. The next day.
Let me ask you the hard hitting question when it comes to this now. Now that TK Tony Khan owns ROH, and after watching Super Card of Honor and after watching Dynamite, how do you see the integration of ROH and AEW going? Like, do you see it being how it is right now? Do you see it being one of those ROH can be the NXT to AEW? Like, how are you seeing ROH going forward now, since they didn't have the show?
Now, I do believe ROH can stand on its own as its own entity, because I mean, we've seen it before. Okay. But my thing, and it's weird, it's in a weird spot, because whereas I could see it as a developmental to AEW, which it would be perfectly fine if that was the case. But I think Ring of Honor has so much star power with its history and its legacy that I think that you would have to just make it its own thing that's connected with AEW. I don't know how they would do it, but I think one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to downgrade the titles that they have there. You don't want to make them like that, like they're a secondary show titles, because that's how it's going to feel. I think you just need to have it to where they're just like two connected universes, where it's like you got storylines going across both, which I think with the roster that AEW has, it's going to benefit them more. Because
that was now the next question I was going to ask you. Does Ring of Honor need the AEW integration?
Yes, for their roster, I think they both need it, because it gives AEW star power. It gives Ring of Honor star power from AEW, and it gets the critics off of AEW's ass saying, okay, you got people on standby, you got people that can't do stuff. Because I mean, you think about the tag teams, like case in point, we keep talking about the Acclaimed, and they deserve a tag title run. Hell, now you got ROH titles that they can compete after, and they're still just as legitimate as the AEW tag title. So that makes perfect sense. So that's where I stand on it. Like make it its own entity that's connected with AEW, especially since you have the whole thing with Joe, Lethal, and Jonathan Gresham. That's all pretty much interwoven. So
that's gonna be a sick ass triple threat match if they book it
go that way.
That's gonna be a sick ass triple threat.
Oh man. And hell, bring the foundation down to AEW. Shit, give Gresham, because I know Gresham's contract status for anywhere was under wraps. Like nobody knows about it, and he hasn't been talking about it. So I think he may have signed a deal with Tony Khan for both AEW and ROH.
Okay, who's on the foundation?
It's Rhett, Titus, Josh Woods, of course, Jonathan Gresham. Somebody else, and it's not. Hold up, we gonna figure this out.
Yeah, because that's the. I mean, you know, I would say, personally speaking, after seeing some of the highlights and seeing some of it, it would be to the best of interest to have a lot of the future stars and things like that go to ROH and kind of mix in with that, because like you said, it will help the whole, oh, they're not using Acclaim, or they're not using X, Y, and Z, so it will help their stock, because it's like, yo, Moriarty down there tearing it up. Y'all ain't paying attention down there, you know what I'm saying? Or, hell, isn't Yuta one of the champions?
Yeah, he's the pure champ right now.
Yeah, so Yuta being the pure champ, which we will talk about that segment at some point. But, so if you're used to seeing Yuta being treated like a punching bag on AEW, obviously in Ring of Honor, man's a whole different beast. So
yes.
But yeah, so I think that definitely would be a helpful situation, AEW having ROH and sending a lot of their people who aren't getting the quote unquote stage time down there.
Yeah. And again, it's only going to, and that's what I was worried about with them purchasing ROH, because I didn't know what their plan was. And I'm fine with Tony Khan keeping things under wraps. You never want to let all the cats out of the bag, but the more I look at it, it's way more beneficial. You get more eyes on the product, and now you have the legacy of ROH. So you get those fans trying to see what's going to happen now that ROH has been salvaged. So as long as you don't take away from what ROH has built, which is why I said it can be developmental, because it has been before. But I think because of everything that's progressed so far, it may hinder it down the line. But if you keep it its own entity and just connect it with AEW, then you give it that much more respect. So yeah, it all depends.
All right, now going back to this week in wrestling, NXT. Now I know I was kind of running through NXT a bit during our WrestleMania weekend recap, but Toxic Attraction won the belts back from Raquel and Dakota after Raquel and Dakota just won on Saturday morning. Toxic Attraction got it back Tuesday night. Now, Wendy Choo tried to pull the whole orange soda to the face again. Mandy Rose interfered and stopped it. They chop blocked Raquel again. And then they hit the hollow on Raquel. Boom, 1, 2, 3. Toxic Attraction's 2-time champ. From that, Kai is all big mad. So Kai will get a title shot against Mandy Rose come Tuesday. Braun Breaker came out, popping his shit about, him getting the belt back from Ziggs, which, if y'all didn't know, Ziggler retained Saturday morning and lost it Monday night back to Breaker. Whatever. Gunther and Imperium come out, and when Gunther was like, hey, yo, fam, I want that belt, yo. And Breaker was like, hey, we can do this tonight, my guy. Like, say less. Do this tonight. Yeah. I'll get to that. Cameron Grimes, come out there saying, finally North American champ, ABC, XYZ. Solo Sikoa come out and was like, well, let me be your first challenger then, my dude. So next week, we're going to get Solo and Grimes for the North American Championship. We're going to insert a pin when I say this one thing. MSK was back there talking, and Grayson Waller and Sangha come up and was like, I bet we can get them belts off of you. And they was like, well, fine. We'll do this next week. And like I said, we're going to circle back to that situation. What else? Duke and Dexter had a one-on-one match, and I'm going to just leave it at that. I'm going to just leave it at that, because if y'all been seeing what's been happening with Index and Druja, is it Druja? No. Duja, that's
Index
what it is. And Duja, I'm waiting for all this to be over with. What else? Oh, the Creed brothers finally found out who defaced their gym and attacked them backstage is NXT UK's former tag team champions, Pretty Deadly, which, by the way, is an amazing tag team name.
Yeah, and they changed their names.
Because both dudes look very model-esque and shit, and they call themselves Pretty Deadly. Amazing tag team name. So it looks like we're going to get Pretty Deadly versus Creed brothers. What else? What else? So basically, Fabian Eichner walked out on Marcel Bartel. Jesus Christ. He walked out on Bartel, and we don't know where the hell Eichner went. Eichner just like disappeared. So we don't know where he went. So
we'll definitely get into that information too, because that's connected to one of our topics.
Yes. So, shambles. Imperium might be in shambles right now. What else? Von Wagner, Von Wagner vignettes. Tiffany Stratton, she had a vignette. What else? So, Gunther, Braun Breaker. Breaker gets the W. And then throughout the night, they were showing Joe Gacy segments. And the final Joe Gacy segment showed Rick Steiner. And as the camera was panning out, you see Rick Steiner is tied up. Joe Gacy and Harlan kidnapped Rick Steiner. So, looks like Braun Breaker's next opponent will be Joe Gacy. Now, I don't know if he's going to win. I don't know what's going to be the whatever to it, but we're going to get Joe Gacy, Braun Breaker feud. So that was pretty much NXT after Stand and Deliver as a whole.
Yeah, that.
Now, do we want to go serious first, or do we want to go sort of lighthearted first?
We're going to keep lighthearted first, and then we'll get into the serious nature.
All right, so potential call-ups. There's word that LA Knight is a potential call-up. There's word that Raquel, is a call-up coming. And word that Imperium, Gunther, and Bartel are potential call-ups.
Yeah.
So, and they saying that most likely Imperium will be on SmackDown.
Yeah. So which is weird that there's a question mark on Fabian Eichner, because you think about Imperium, you think about one hell of a fucking tag team, even Walter aside.
Yes.
But it's like, what? Because even in the report, they state that they're trying to bring Imperium up, but then they say Gunther and Marcel Bartel. They don't say Fabian Eichner, which is like, so that means you're trying to bring Walter, Gunther, and Marcel Bartel as a tag team.
That's what it's going to seem like.
It's like, why don't you just bring all of Imperium up and let them do their shit? And like, at least in the mid card area, hell, I would honestly put them on fucking Raw.
Now, also too, there was a dude standing in the audience during the Imperium stand, and I don't know if he's a superstar that they just didn't want to acknowledge, but they did show a dude when Gunther was going against Breaker that he was standing there the whole time, doing the Imperium stance. So I don't know if they're going to try to make him the third member or what. So, yeah. Because the camera panned to him, and I can't remember if they acknowledged him or not, but he was standing there most of the time doing the stand, so we don't know what's going to be the story of him either.
Go back and check that out then, because that's interesting.
So, but yeah, so those could be potential call-ups: Raquel Gonzalez, LA Knight, and Imperium minus Eichner.
now see now and now for the disrespect portion of that whole segment, is that the fact that LA Knight is in talks, well, as far as the rumors say, to be called up in the same way that Adam Cole was going to be called up, not to be an in-ring performer.
Wait, what? This is new to me.
Yeah. So they said he worked a dark match so far. So that's where some of the, because it was the same time they were talking about Raquel, they were talking about LA Knight, but Raquel's talks were more so seem to be more verified that she was definitely going in, and LA Knight was pretty much just tentative, depending on what was going to happen. So one of the pitches so far for LA Knight was to basically be of a manager role because of his mic work. Now, this goes back to what I said
about player coach.
See, now this is what I was saying about fucking Sami Zayn. When you do something so well, they slot you in somewhere.
Yeah.
Whereas he could be a jack of all trades. LA Knight, Eli Drake is a fantastic worker. Not only that, he is a fantastic mic worker.
And he's an all-around superstar. I mean, I know you watch Stand and Deliver, but he got the crowd on his side. Like he got
the over.
Like anytime he does his stomps, anytime he does his punches, they yeah. And then of course
he got me saying it.
Let me talk to you. Like LA Knight got the people.
that is future championship material right there.
Yes.
That's future main eventer material right there. Like you can't. This is where WWE just shits the fucking bed in situations like this, because you have legit talent. You have legit future talent here. And even if you don't want to use them for long, that's fine. But you can at least help them solidify what the future is going to hold for WWE, because you're going to be bringing in a bunch of legitimate athletes that can't work wrestling for shit. Yeah, they can go in the ring. Well, maybe not in the ring, but they can go, athletically. But not all of them can go in the ring. Not all of them can be a character. Half these athletes in the world don't have charisma. Mm-hmm. That's why you don't see all of them on Wheaties Box. That's why you don't see all of them plugging certain things. That's why you don't see all of them being pitched from different companies, because half of these guys and gals that are in the Olympics, in athletics, in anywhere, shape, or form, they have absolutely zero charisma, because everything that they have as talent-wise is all done for that sport. They can't talk to anybody. They don't know how to have that. They don't know how to emote, and that's not the disrespect to them. That's a testament to what they're to the skill that they have by putting their all into their sport.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't expect them to go from one thing to the next without being groomed to do that. And LA Knight, a Samoa Joe, a Keith Lee, a Karrion Kross, all these people that you guys let go had that experience to help these guys to solidify your future. And you are absolutely doing a disservice to these guys, not only the ones you let go, but the guys you're trying to bring in, because all you're going to do is make this shit as bland as fuck, because you're going to run off all the guys with legitimate talent.
Yes.
Man.
Yeah. Oh, and also too, Nikita Lyons beat Lash Legend. I forgot about that. Totally forgot that happened.
Why is Lash Legend still there? Like, why?
So
why do we need that?
The Battle of the Titans, and Titans being a double entendre.
Bring Tamina down. Bring Tamina back down and have her do the job. Hell, set Lions up with fucking Raquel Gonzalez.
Horny Jail was saying, it was the battle of the booties and all, but yeah. Last Legend's issue to me, they shouldn't have gave her that talk show.
No, absolutely not. I cringed and I was done when I saw it.
I have no issue with her in-ring work, because you can tell she's still trying to work it out. They shouldn't have gave her that Wendy Williams talk show thing, because if you're of the culture and know Wendy Williams, it instantly turned me away from her. It instantly was like, fuck. I want to like you, Lash, but not with you trying to be Wendy Williams.
No, not at all. Not in the fucking slightest.
So, but yeah. So I just hope that it's one of those situations to where with the call ups, they do right by them. I understand they might want to change things up, but at least they do right by them, because that'd be the issue with a lot of the call ups is that they come gift wrapped, Pete Dunne, and then you switch them to Butch. Then it's like, excuse me? Like, you do know we just saw him like last week as Pete Dunne. Now he shows up with Sheamus and Ridge, and he's Butch. And not only is he's Butch, excuse me, but he's this unhinged, I want to fight everybody guy. Like, okay, all right, okay, cool. But yeah, so hopefully they start to do right by some of the call ups as time progresses. I know things are going to get weird, but
definitely
we shall see. So now we're going to shift a little bit to something more serious. So, as reported yesterday, Nash Carter, one half of MSK, one half of the NXT Tag Team Champions, was released by WWE, and that's mainly because Kimberly, his former wife, has basically came out on Twitter saying that, you know, he was abusive, she has pictures, this, that, and the third. And I guess the allegations are too bad to where WWE just decided they didn't want the bad PR and decided to go ahead and release them rather than, you know, trying to see if it's all true and things like that. I don't know as far as how in depth Dizzle and I are going to get. We're just going to tell you everything surface level. The situation, of course, is getting messier because Nash's current wife basically saying Kimberly is full of shit. That Kimberly is basically jealous that Nash was leaving her. And, you know, since his career was on the up, he didn't really want to deal with her anymore. And that, you know, she's alleging Nash, Kimber is alleging Nash did physical abuse, but then at times she's saying no, he did emotional abuse, and she keeps flip-flopping what she's saying. It's a pretty messy situation what's happening with Nash Carter. And I hope, well, okay, let me not say it that way. If it's something that is not true, I hope he gets his job back and we can collectively apologize the IWC, because the moment somebody gets slapped with these type of allegations, they immediately go to a piece of shit. Even if we don't know all of the facts, they immediately get put into the piece of shit category. So, not saying necessarily Nash is in that situation personally, because hearing everything is so fucking messy. I don't know. I just hope that she's not ruining this man's career. And if he did do it, then yeah, piece of shit. But it's so messy right now.
Yeah, I've been teetering on whether to pull the trigger on if I was going to talk about this or not. I know I was going to talk about the call up, the potential call ups. Yeah. And I was still debating on if I was going to talk about this Nash Carter situation because of the fact that a lot of this is speculation. There seems to be some validity to a lot of what's going on, but this whole thing is just a cluster of, you know, of stuff. Because now apparently him and Kimberly are still married.
Ah, okay.
So that's where a lot of this whole thing comes into play, because it seems like from what I gathered from it, and again, anybody listening, correct me if I'm wrong. Trust me, I'm not saying that any of this is valid, but from what I gathered from everything is that she had posted something, or rather, she was going to post something, and apparently, he talked to her and sweet talked her in a way to where it was like, okay, well, no, things are gonna get better or something.
Right when their match was officially announced for Stand and Deliver, she posted, "I'm gonna give you 24 hours to confess, or I'm gonna just basically let it go." That's what she basically posted.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give you 24 hours to tell the truth, or I'm gonna just spill it myself. And nothing came of it, like you were saying. Then after they won the titles, come Monday, shit got real.
Yeah, and that's where the issue lies here, because again, you never want to make light of a domestic abuse or domestic violence situation. Like you never want to make light of that. And if that's the case, then you know what? Yeah, something needs to be done. She needs to get help. He needs to get help. But the problem lies.
Both he and she. We'll say both.
Yeah.
Psychologically, so both. We'll say both.
Correct. And this is the reason why this is a sticky situation, because if something's happening to you, why use it as a weapon to threaten somebody about it being like, okay, hey, I'm gonna do this? Because if that's the case,
was my confusion with that. They're
See?
using it as a weapon. Not so much saying it to where, no, we need to know what he's doing to me. It's more of a, I'm gonna use this as my card, as my blue eyes white dragon, as my, that's the thing that's getting me. Yeah. If he really done this stuff to you, let the world know, but don't do it as a, I have this hold over you and I can let it off anytime I want to.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
And that's the difference between this situation and like the Rich Swann and Su Yung situation, because that was kind of, nobody saw it coming. It was like, oh, this situation happened. Then she came out and defended him. Like stuff happened between those two, but she came out and defended him. And right now they are okay. But that was a situation where it's like it happened. She admitted to what happened there. She defended him still. They're still together, so that's fine. But with this, it's like timing of everything. This you can go back and say, to say the same thing with Patrick Clark. With that situation, it came about at the time where he was pretty much on the road to getting his highest highs, because he could have been that next big star in NXT. And then you get this stuff coming out, and so he was in limbo until they just eventually let him go. So with this happened a bit quicker because they let him go almost immediately. Nash Carter is like it was speculated at first, and then it was confirmed, I believe, the next day, if not a few hours before.
Like literally Wednesday, Nash Carter released.
Which is crazy. I think it may be like the first time in recent history that a champion has been released.
I think you're right.
Because I mean, I can't readily off the top of my brain think about any champion. Yeah. It's one of those situations, and of course of course there was the pictures of him having his Hitler mustache and doing the Nazi salute and stuff like this. I didn't see the full post on that. I did see the picture. I didn't see the full post, so I don't know what it pertains. But regardless of the fact, everybody has skeletons in the closet. This is not me defending him at all. Everybody has their skeletons. Everybody has shit that they do behind closed doors. And I'm gonna say this shit like I say about the whole Chris Brown thing. Not everybody knows what everybody does behind closed doors, but I guarantee you, everybody knows somebody's talent. And a lot of what you do behind closed doors, if you're not hurting anybody, should not affect your business. If it's not again, he could be as racist as any. Trust me, there's a lot of fucking actors and performers in this world who are inherently.
There's many allegations about the Young Bucks, and you motherfuckers out there don't say shit. So there's many things about the Young Bucks' views and opinions. So Yeah.
And there's a thing with there. It's like, you know, but again, nobody's outright hurting anybody or hurting anybody's chances for advance. I mean, look at it. I mean, let's say hypothetically, let's throw the hypothetical out there. Let's say the Young Bucks are racist. This is not us saying that, so don't sit here and try to clip this shit and say that we're saying they're racist. No,
right.
It's hypothetical. Look how progressive AEW is, and these guys are EVPs, so they're not doing anything to hold anybody back. They're not hurting anybody. So there's no reason why they should be canceled or let go, because whatever views they have, it's just like political views. People Republican, people Democrat. You're not finna sit here and vilify someone based on their views on that end. So it's like, why would you disrupt what helps them make money or feed their family? You know, their family did nothing to you, you know, so why take food off their table? So in the Nash Carter case, him and his wife have an issue. They need to handle that. She needs to go about it the right way instead of going about it on social media. If she needs help, trust me, this dude is not with her 24/7. There are plenty of chances that she can take to go get a police report, go get help one way or the other. She can be protected. So, and again, I'm not making excuses for Nash Carter. I'm just saying at this point, there's a lot of things you can do.
I would rather the proper process happen as far as police investigations, if arrest needs to be. I would rather the proper process happen than doing it the way it's being done now. And that's the problem with this society now. We throw out these allegations, we throw out these things, and it's like, proper process. Like, I understand we want to vilify this certain celebrity for doing this and doing that, but are we going through the proper channels as well?
Correct.
Because if this celebrity you are alleging is a serial rapist, let's get this motherfucker off the streets. Or if this guy or girl is a serious abuser, let's get this person off the streets.
Yeah.
Right. Not, hey, I want to just make sure I ruin your life to where nobody will hire you again. That will happen with the proper process as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and WWE should know better at this point, because I mean, look what just happened with Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
They jumped the gun on that because, and granted, I can understand why they would, but again, they didn't go through the proper process to make sure, hey, is this guy sober? Is something wrong? I mean, let's
call a spade a spade. They were done with Jeff Hardy anyway.
I mean, absolutely. I do agree with that. I do agree with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that should have been an example for them at that point too. It's like, you know, AEW, I'm pretty sure weren't gonna hire somebody who could have been a potential hazard to the company. Now he's on TV every week doing perfectly fine, no signs, especially if he's over there working with Sting. And Sting is the one that should be able
if anybody, Sting should have beef with him. And if you don't know, Sting, Victory Road 2011. I think it was Victory Road 2011. If you don't know about that incident, Sting, if anyone, should have beef with Jeff.
Yeah, 2011. That's right.
Yeah, so TNA Victory Road 2011 is the reference.
Yeah, and he's currently working with Sting right now.
You know, thoughts and prayers to everyone involved in this situation. I guess we can just wait and see how it goes. We shouldn't necessarily vilify Nash until we get the full deets. We shouldn't necessarily vilify Kimber at the same time. Keep us out of y'all's business too. We don't need to know everything that's happening.
Yeah.
Keep us out of y'all's private business when it comes to that situation.
That's for any preferred.
Nobody wants to hear outside people's opinions, because I'm pretty sure Nash has been getting his mentions blown up.
Yeah.
Thinking he's this. So let's see what the due process is first before we truly vilify Nash or Kimber. And even when we find out,
let them handle that shit.
Let them handle it. But going back to this week in wrestling, it's a very salacious title, but Cody has been doing his rounds and doing his interviews, and basically, in a nutshell, he said it without saying it, that he basically had a falling out with Tony Khan. He had a falling out, and things just wasn't what he thought was going to be at AEW. Now, the thing I say personally is, well, I don't say that. I say personally. The question I would ask you: what do you think, if we had to potentially guess it, what do you think happened between Rhodes and Khan that caused the fallout?
Well, this in itself is news to me because I remember watching the WrestleMania
He did
post-presser.
an interview with a magazine.
Okay.
And right when he debuted for sure, they released the interview.
Oh,
and in
okay.
the interview, actually, you know what? I think I clipped it. Now I'm thinking about it. Hello. Yes, he did an interview with Variety. And one of the questions was, how does it feel knowing you're not only coming back to WWE, but coming back to WrestleMania? Everyone who knows me asks me how I'm feeling, if I'm really excited. The answer I kind of keep giving everybody is, it's just a really heavy feeling. When I first got into wrestling, I was solely in the WWE system, and I had that dream of getting to the top. Excuse me. Then dreams were like rivers, as Garth Brooks' songs say, and it veered and it changed. Then we were able to do what we were able to do with AEW, and that's something I'm very proud of. But to be able to revisit the thing that I set out to do in the first place when I didn't think I would get their chance is just heavy. So that was his basically thoughts of coming back to WWE/WrestleMania. Then he said, of course, everyone wants to know about the details around your AEW departure. I choose to remain silent about my departure from AEW, and I'm going to keep my word on that. There's no shoot interview. There's no nefarious tale that's going to be told. There were all these different theories, and none of them are correct. I mean, there were things about money and creative control. They were printed as fact, and it's been a very difficult 2 months to see that, when the reality is that it was just time. It was a personal matter, and we couldn't move past it. I have nothing but respect for Matt, Nick, Kenny. I'm rooting for Tony Khan. His name is going to bankroll and support this entire alternative and revolution that AEW became, but for me. It was just time to move on. I got an opportunity at my dream. I get another chance at it, and you really can't leave any stone unturned with that.
Yeah.
So that was his interview that released with Variety right when he debuted.
Okay. Yeah, it kind of the same. At least good 80% of that is like the same talking points that he gave at the WrestleMania press conference. Aside from naming Bucks and Omega, and then talking about Kenny a little bit more. So with this situation, I can see how that would have been a fallout based on like the direction, because I think Kenny alluded to it, and I think the Bucks may have alluded to it here and there. But yeah, because I think Kenny was the one that said Cody was the one that was like pushing to compete with WWE.
Yeah.
And of course now there has been some clarification with Cody on that end, based on how he like poking fun at people that he used to work with, but it's all that inside joke type thing. So which I can agree with. I can understand that. Now, in this situation here, and I wholeheartedly believe this even from the beginning, I always knew Cody was going to go back. It was always a thing I understood, because it's, and I think, and it goes back to the moment that he had that debut vignette for the Bullet Club at New Japan. Because once I saw that, I was like, yo, that's star power right there. Now let's see what happens. And he went on, of course, to go do New Japan, go to ROH, and raise his stock there to where you can see what WWE wouldn't allow you to see when he was over there. So,
and then once again too, we have to realize so I don't want to make it seem like I'm caping for WWE, but we have to realize WWE's long tenured career, they have a history of whatever plan they see, they're going to see it out. It's rare plans change. Stone Cold was meant to be Stone Cold in WWE. Vince McMahon was meant to be Vince McMahon. Undertaker, The Rock, Bret Hart, Hogan, all of these people were going to get pushed to the top. Trips, can't forget Trips, HBK. They were meant to be the superstars of the company because WWE was going to make it. Same thing they did with Cena. Same thing they did with Roman. That's how we turned against Roman at that one time because it was like, okay, y'all are just forcing it down our throats.
Hold up, Scoot. Let me clarify that for the people that's watching because they're gonna take something you said and say, oh no, WWE changes stuff all the time. We get that. What Scoot is saying, whatever agenda WWE has in place, they're going to go forward with that, which is why Roman and John Cena has been shoved down everybody's throats. All right, Scoot, continue.
Same thing we can say with Charlotte. Same thing we can say with Becky. Whoever women you could insert here. Same thing they did with Sable, China. Insert
they did
whatever
that shit with Sable.
Yeah, hell yeah, they did that shit with Sable. You could insert whatever superstar here. If they see the vision, aka, let's be honest, we're seeing it now with Austin Theory. Vince McMahon is gonna make Austin Theory a thing, whether we like it or not.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Unless, God forbid, Austin Theory gets some gnarly fucking injury. Austin Theory has been the only wrestler, other than that one segment with Pat McAfee, he has been the only wrestler to interact with Vince since Survivor Series when Roman sat down with him when Vince was talking about that dumbass egg. But Roman, Zayn, and Theory, and ever since Theory came out and said he was the one who stole the egg, he has been the only wrestler interacted with Vince until 2 weeks ago when Seth Rollins did that vignette about him going to the office and getting his Mania match.
Yeah.
Vince is going to make Theory a thing. So the WWE has that agenda of we want this person to be the next superstar. They're going to do it. Unfortunately, Cody was not in those plans.
Yeah.
Any of those wrestlers who recently just got released were not in those plans. That's the one thing we have to realize when it comes to the E. Whatever plans they have set out and whatever agendas they want to do, they're going to do it, whether we like it or not. Yeah, plans might change like Kofi Mania. That was a happy accident.
Yeah.
Things like that will happen with the E, but for the most part, whatever agenda they have set out, they're going to see it through by hell or high water.
Yes. Yes, absolutely, and that's the thing with Cody and why I believe like this was meant to happen. Even with it's almost like when you start hearing the rumors about Cody Rhodes, like saying that he's gonna be done around 40, he's gonna get into politics and stuff like that. Like you knew that as far as AEW, he was on borrowed time. Like there was, him, and it almost makes sense as to why he implemented that stipulation where he would not win the world championship.
Yes.
Because it's like, okay, now I got a fail safe to where it's like, if I do leave, I'm not leaving anything on the table. Like I'm staying true to that. I'm never going to win that title. I'm going to build this TNT championship up and leave it at that. And then when it's time and my contract is up, I've already done what I need to do over here. This company is going to be fine. I'm going to go ahead and make this dream a reality. And I can't fault him for that. Because if that's what he had, if that's his plan that he had in mind, especially the promo that he gave on Monday, if this is what the pitch was and they're going full force with this, I'm all for it. Because there's no way that any respectable person in the IWC can look at Cody and say that he does not deserve this. There's no person that can sit here and look at this and say, you know what, Cody's a sellout because he's going back. No.
And let's be honest. Call it what you want. Fuck y'all. How about that? Because if the man has a chance to live out his dreams, what you mad about? I mean, at the end of the day, he still helped build the company y'all love so much.
Exactly.
Whether you want to admit it or not, he still helped build up AEW. Whether you want to admit it or not, he still built it up. And if WWE is going to give him his chance to live out his dreams, hell, look at what he was saying in the promo alone. He referenced his dad.
Yeah.
The first thing, referenced his dad, Madison Square Garden, everything. He got choked up a few times during it. If they were able to, and the thing is, Cody's star power is high enough to right now to where WWE is going to be like, whatever you want, we got you.
As it should be. As it should be. Because you need those stars. And it's like, I shit on WWE a lot. But that's only because I feel hurt and disrespected by WWE because of what I know they can do. Because they have a lot of star power in that company that deserves a lot better. And if Cody can help get that company to where people want it to be, where it becomes watchable like AEW is on most occasions, then you need to give him that chance to do that. Allow him to make Raw great again. Like, do something. Like, just, I'm not giving up on WWE. I mean, I'll shit on it as much as as many times as they. Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, I'm still rooting for him at the end of the day. I love AEW, but I want to get back to the time where it's like I can switch between shows and say, oh shit, this shit was dope here. Oh shit, this shit was dope over here. I want to make sure I can watch all wrestling and be happy across the fucking board. Simple as that. So,
but yeah. I will say this. We can tell there had to been some type of falling out, and maybe it had to deal with creative control. Maybe it had to deal with the fact that Tony stripped the power away or whatever. But at the end of the day, and I think one thing a lot of people tend to not notice and realize is that Cody and a few of the guys, when AEW first started, Cody, Jericho, and a few others were the only people in that company that knew how to do weekly TV.
Yes.
And even when you were watching Cody's matches, his matches felt so differently than what was happening on the rest of the card.
Yes.
And let's call a spade a spade. A lot of his matches were the high-class WWE matches. When WWE starts to have legit matches like Seth Rollins and Cody, that's the type of matches Cody was doing. I mean, let's just be real. And it's one of those things to where why stay with somebody or why stay with a company if it's not aligning with what you want?
True statement.
If the world title is what Cody wanted and AEW didn't want to give it to you, then it could be like, okay, well, I can make this stipulation. I can never challenge for it, but at the same time, I'm gonna go out there and still be Cody. Yeah. But as time progresses, and if WWE is willing to be like, hey, we're willing to give you A, B, C, X, Y, and Z, while AEW is like, we want to give you this, but no, we're still trying to build up the new talent. We're still trying to build up this. We're still trying to build up that. Cody is thinking to himself, my wrestling clock is not that long. So if I can go ahead and check off the check marks now, what I have to do to mend the relationships.
Yeah, exactly.
What I have to do to build bridges. And it's completely fine. And
absolutely.
If anybody in AEW want to take shots, and if all you IWC people want to take shots, then obviously y'all never had a dream.
Ooh. Yo, that's truth spit right there. That's definite truth speak, because it's like, if you have had a dream, then you know what that feeling is, and you know by any means necessary, within reason, of course, by any means necessary, within reason, you're gonna go after it and make it happen. So don't sit here and act like y'all wouldn't take a chance at a once in a lifetime thing. If some of y'all that have dreams of being a professional wrestler, and Vince McMahon, Tony Khan, whoever's running fucking Impact nowadays came to your door and said, hey, we will pay for your training. We will pay for this whole deal to get you in. We'll fly you out there and get you ready. Are you ready to live your dream? You more than likely would drop every fucking thing and go at it. Regardless of how old you were, whatever, you would make sure that you found a position for yourself within that company because you are doing the thing that you are passionate about. So it's not that brand new.
Yeah, let's be honest. If insert big legendary record label right now came to you and Nico and be like, hey, yo, we willing to sign y'all to this record deal to drop 2-3 albums, I'm pretty sure you and Nico will definitely have a hard talk about it, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like, yeah, let's go drop these bars.
Like at the end of the day, it'd be like, yo, it's for the music.
Insert this label, and granted, we all know record labels are this, that, and the third, but once again, if they're giving you the opportunity to live our dreams,
pretty much, yeah. That's at least 3 years worth of stuff right there. So you talking about living out the dream for about 3 years? Absolutely, no question. We would have a talk about it, but again, once in a lifetime situation, right there.
Once in a lifetime situations.
So again, and this goes for everything. This goes with this situation. This goes with what we talked about with the Nash Carter situation. Let's not jump the gun and just assume that everything is in a negative light. That's a disservice to the fans, and let's not act like every situation is taken at face value, because nobody knows the ins and outs. You don't know everything that Nash Carter's done. You know everything that Kimberly has done. You know everything that Patrick Clark has done. You know the Rock. Anybody could be in some type of speculative situation. Hell, Del Rio, Page, all this shit. Everybody. So hell, when we came on there and talked about what was it Jey Uso that had the issue, or was it Jimmy?
Jimmy.
So yeah, we talked about Jimmy having his alcohol problems, stuff like that, and we flamed that situation. But at the end of the day, look at it. He's still there. He hasn't had any other issues pop up, but again, anything could happen at any point in time. So just if you don't have all the facts, don't jump to conclusion.
And even if you do have all the facts, I mean, at the end of the day, who the fuck are we as a society to judge another person like that?
That's true. Because all of us got skeletons. I don't care who you are. There's not one squeaky clean person in this fucking world.
And I was even saying this to Mike. I was saying, one thing I pride ourselves on this podcast is we do things differently than a lot of people in the IWC. We don't never directly talk about wrestlers. We might talk about the match, and maybe that the match sucks, but we never be like, oh man, such is just a trash wrestler. They can't.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If you can go through it, if you want to be one of them people who want to comb through all our episodes and be like, well, here, this episode at this time, y'all said such and such suck. Was it in the guise of a joke, or was we being dead serious? Because when we saying like fuck Callis or fuck Bivens, or at the time fuck 2.0, not 2.0, Everard.
Yeah, Everard. Yeah.
When we were saying all of that, that was in the guise of character work and joke. We was never like, oh man, they are trash wrestler. Obviously, if they on national TV, they doing something right. They doing something right. And over half of you motherfuckers popping that big shit wouldn't even take a bump. And we did a whole little segment of the bumps we would be willing to take for the storyline and money, but for the storyline.
Right.
But so that's the one thing we pride ourselves on. We'll talk all the shit we talk, but we never directly just say such and such is a horrible wrestler. They can't wrestle. It'll just be like, nah, that match didn't do it for me.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say somebody's green, but that's because
we can say somebody's green because I mean, you can see green in anything. You can see green in football, basketball, baseball. You can see green in any sport. And unfortunately, wrestling is the type of situation where green can get yourself or your opponent hurt.
Correct.
But with that being said, we got one more thing to talk about with this week in wrestling. Last night's AEW Dynamite. Now, unfortunately, I was kind of working at the same time, so I paid attention some and not all of it, but I definitely paid attention to that main event.
Yeah, the show for me went by pretty fucking quick.
Yeah, it did. Like, it seemed like it was like boom, 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 main event, and I was like, have I really been sitting here for 2 hours? Like,
yeah.
Oh, Samoa Joe making his debut. You know, shout out to Max Caster and them bars, and even Samoa Joe's listening to them bars like, okay, yeah, that was kind of true. Okay,
yeah, and that's look. Okay, you know, y'all. We'll go ahead by a little bit. Okay, first, Adam Cole, Christian Cage, good match, build up, cool, whatever. We already know we're getting that Texas Death Match. We knew that these matches were coming. Same thing with Red Dragon and
Jurassic
Express. We knew this shit was coming. Those belts may still be retained come next week, and I think I think they're both next week.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jurassic Express lose theirs.
I wouldn't be surprised either. It's just, again, I'd rather this shit be done on the pay-per-view, but you know, it is what it is.
Of course,
or at Battle of the fucking Belts, which we'll get.
Why is Hangman defending his belt on Rampage when Battle of the Belt is that Saturday?
They did the shit. They did the shit last time.
Yes.
That's the crazy thing.
What is the purpose of that damn event?
Exactly, because why would you sit there and plug Battle of the Belts and then you book championship matches for both Dynamite and Rampage the same fucking week? Just push that shit to Battle of the Belts. Make that event feel a lot bigger than it feels right now, because it does not feel
I'm gonna guess that one of the matches on Battle of the Belts is going to be Jade Cargill and Marina.
That makes sense. And hell, they may even defend the FTW championship again.
Yeah, they did last time.
So who the fuck knows? But yeah.
And we might get Scorpio Sky, Sammy Guevara.
And see, that's an issue that I have. Scorpio Sky needs to be prominent on these fucking TV shows.
Right.
Because this, like, you're making a bad case for yourself, AEW. Like, this is one of your champions. This is somebody who has been clamoring both for himself and from the fans to have gold put on him. He is an underutilized wrestler in terms of Dynamite. He needs to be more prominent on Dynamite, in ring and on promos. Scorpio Sky is a good promo and a fantastic in-ring performer. Let him do his thing, please. He's a champion for a reason. Show the people that. But that aside, speaking of green, Julia Hart and Hikaru Shida, I'm going through the weird shit first just to get that shit out of the way. Julia Hart is she was wearing green for a reason.
Oh boy, it was a little rough. It was a little rough.
It was. I can see that she's doing the little hill work a little bit, which is cool. I like the slow build, so that's cool.
I'm kind of still wondering why she's still rocking that eye patch.
Yeah, well, I think we all know. Lee Johnson, big shotty. But because I mean, look, anybody that's gotten misted so far has been perfectly fine after a while.
Not her.
She using that miss as an excuse for other things that's been going on. Julia Hart, you see, you be looking innocent, girl. You now come on now. Come on now. Anyway, love having the professor on TV, of course. You know,
yes.
Serena Deeb, yes. Jade Cargill and the whole Marina Shafir beef. Loving that too. I wish that we would see Marina Shafir on TV, because we know that she's probably going to lose. If she doesn't, then I'd be like, damn, that's dope. But
yeah,
if she's going to lose, put her on TV. Let everybody see her. Let her look like a serious threat. Don't just let Jade build her up. I did talk shit about the whole Wardlow being on TV constantly when he should be away. I take what I said back, because as I'm watching this and as I see the repetition that they're doing with him just beating down people and coming in, they're making him look more legit as a big guy. And I'm like, okay, I can see what they're doing. And so Tony Khan, on that end, I take back what I said. I apologize, because I was thinking that you were booking this shit horribly. You're not. Wardlow looks fantastic, and I actually enjoy. Like last night, I enjoyed seeing him come in, and it's like, yo, that kind of brings back to the old days when it's like you would have somebody come in the Attitude Era and like come through the crowd or whatever and try to wreck shot, especially if it was like a Stone Cold. I'm like, yo,
yes.
I got that feeling back. So keep doing what you're doing. The Hardys, same thing kind of with that. I kept
not care one bit about this match.
And no, so I don't care. I didn't care about the match. I thought the match, whatever, which is weird because I don't know what their table match rules were, because I didn't see
opponents had to be put through a table.
Oh, okay. So that, again, something that makes sense. They took a gimmick that could have been botched, i.e., Cena and Sheamus from a while back, from years ago.
Yeah,
and they made a fail safe to where it makes sense. So I'm cool with that. If this is in any way, shape, or form their way of getting to the broken universe, broken Matt Hardy and Brother Nero, then I'm fine. It's like they're basically milking this Hardy's cow, for its last bit. Say, okay, we're gonna give everybody a nice little comeback, give them that, and then we're gonna go ahead and give them what we really want to give them. Then I'm fine with it, but do it as quickly as fucking possible.
Yeah, because. Yeah, and then too, they'll help that the AFO keeps coming out, and then Sting and Darby keeps coming out, and it's just like,
rinse and repeat.
See an end to this, please.
The only good thing to come out of this whole deal is that Private Party are now wearing dark colors. They're not standing out like a sore thumb, like they actually look like they belong in this fucking stable.
Yes.
So thank you for that, but that's about as positive as I'll be about that situation. Now, to go back all over the place, Max Caster, one. I mean, you talk about the charisma that this guy has, and Mike work with the freestyle. I don't know if he's doing off the top or if I'm pretty sure he writes his stuff and then goes out and does it. But
yeah,
the way that he gets the crowd popping like Acclaim, yes, are heels, but they have the crowd in the palm of their hands the same way that Enzo and Cass in WWE had the crowd in their hands. And I love that as this tag team. Hopefully AEW does with them what WWE felt to do with Enzo and Cass.
Yes.
Now, Joe
is my man for a reason. Like, what a lot of people don't know, if I really was to really go through my favorite wrestlers list of all time, Joe is definitely in my top 10 personally, maybe even in my top 5. Because if you know me, you all know nobody will ever be above the one and only Triple H. But after Trips, I think it gets a little shifty, because AJ Styles sometimes is number 2. Then I get reminded of Shawn Michaels that he gets number 2. But it gets a little shifty. But I always know who my number 1 is.
Yeah.
But Joe was always my dude. Ever since he debuted in TNA, he was always my dude. So, and that boy hit that damn Schmurder dance last night.
That's why it goes back to that whole thing. Because the moment I seen Joe, once the match started, it immediately brought me to Tony Storm the previous week, because I'm looking, I'm like, Joe is having fun.
Yes,
he's enjoying what he's doing. It's like he was being serious at points, but he had that serious smile on his face where it's like you can tell that he felt good.
Yeah.
And I go back to Tony Storm, because you look at her and she was having a good time. Like
I didn't get to watch last week. So
so you didn't see her match? Tony
Storm. I didn't watch none of it last week.
Toni Storm was like, she looked like she was happy to be like doing what she loved again. And I have to give a shout out, and I hate that Jaeger's not on. I have to give a shout out to the Shotzi lookalike in the crowd, because they for a good 80% of the show, I was convinced that Shotzi was in the crowd, because it looked like her. But then after the main event, they zoomed in on the guy that was next to her, so I paused and I was like, oh wait, no, it's not Shotzi. But had that not happened, I would have been convinced that Shotzi was in the crowd.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Eddie Kingston, Santana and Ortiz whooped on.
I saw that
the JS.
Yeah.
Oh man.
These
guys.
I will say this: if it wasn't for Kingston and Santana and Ortiz, I would totally not care.
Oh, and that's the thing. I like the JS.
Do you?
I wish they. I do, for the people that's in it, and because they got me with their promos, because they're milking this whole sports entertainer thing, like it's like a tongue-in-cheek thing.
Yeah.
And I like it, because everybody that's doing it outside of Daniel Garcia, they seem like they belong, because especially this seems like a 2.0 thing that they would do, like especially like they seem like stooges for Jericho. That's why I want them in the ring more. Daniel Garcia, only reason that it makes sense because it feels like he's indebted to Chris Jericho.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's why it seems to make sense on that end. And of course, with Jericho getting back in shape and then rocking his old school hairdo, it's like, it has a refreshing nature to it, and that's why I like it. But I do want to see them more in the ring, and I don't want to see all these backstage segments and promos in the ring. I want to see them do more wrestling, because I'm pretty sure this is what they're trying to showcase. Like, yeah, you got the star power behind it. Get these guys in the ring. Let Daniel Garcia do what he's supposed to do, and let 2.0 show you why they deserve to be tag team champions where they weren't in NXT. So that's that. Jake Hager, I mean, he can do whatever he wants, I guess. He's just a heavy. And that's the deal. I mean, he's playing his part. Yeah. So, now with Eddie Kingston, there's that sense of realism, which I'm glad we got. We have Kingston, we have Santana Ortiz, we have Joe, we have all these guys, Mox, Danielson, Regal. We have all these guys that are in here that are given a sense of realism. So it's not just one person; it's multiple people that can make you feel like, oh shit's getting real. And that's why I'm excited about this tournament. Yeah, because I thought it was just going to be the females. I didn't know there was a male tournament as well.
Yeah. It was announced originally it was going to be. You know what? Honestly, they should have did all three. They should have did male, female, and tag team.
Oh,
because Owen was a prominent tag wrestler too. They should have did all three.
I would like to see another tag tournament. I mean, thing is, AEW does tournaments very fucking well.
Yeah, they should have did all three.
And I said this on Tag Talk, where I said I like the fact that they're actually doing qualifiers for the tournament, because they're able to flesh it out more, and it's able to breathe. And the way that they're building everything up, it's like they're utilizing people who I'm sure they're going to utilize people that haven't been used in certain points, which I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to see a Mox, we're going to see a Danielson, we're going to see a lot of shit come out of this, along with storylines as well. And for the women, I mean, come on.
If Serena Deeb don't win, I'm pissed. That's my stance on this tournament.
Man, she would need to. She would need to. Now I don't know if Ruby Soho is going to be in this one. I don't even know if
Serena Deeb don't win. That's my official stance.
Yeah, I kind of want Ruby Soho to kind of stay away from this one.
Yeah,
give it to Deeb and allow the shit to breathe for her, so that way she can go off and do her thing with probably Thunder Rosa, where she'll probably take that title, and then bring Ruby Soho back to take that title off of Jade.
So I would say I can see Ruby taking the title off of Jade.
Yeah, it would make sense.
I can see that. No, hey, if y'all been following us long enough, y'all know how I feel about best friends. Wheeler Yuta, go ahead and just smack fire out of Trent. Just go ahead and smack fire out there, dude.
I'm loving this whole thing with them and with Trent having his issues with Wheeler Yuta, and I love this nature.
Trent, yo.
I love Yuta's nature right now too.
And go ahead and join that Blackpool Combat Club. But yeah, go ahead and just smack fire out of Trent, yo. Don't be letting that man talk to you like that. Go ahead and smack fire. Not only smack fire, but then burn the fucking t-shirt. Burn that best friend's t-shirt. You know what I'm saying?
I do want to see that match though. I do want to see the match.
Go ahead and smack fire out of Trent, yo.
Wait, Trent's gonna wrestle Danielson.
Trent's gonna wrestle Danielson, and Mox is gonna wrestle Yuta again.
Bro, it's like what, the third, fourth time?
Like the third or fourth time, yeah. But of course, Dynamite was capped off with FTR versus the Young Bucks for the Ring of Honor tag team titles and the AAA tag team titles.
Yes.
Them boys went at it.
Yes.
I love the antics they was doing. I loved everything. I will say this. There were times I thought the match was going to go the other way. And if it did,
I thought that was, yeah.
And if it did, I would have been pissed. I would have been pissed if the Young Bucks would have won. Like, I'm not even like I like heel Young Bucks, this, that, and the third, but I would have been pissed if FTR would have lost those belts last night.
Yeah.
Because them boys really prove why FTR is one of my favorite tag teams of today and of all time.
Yeah.
Actually, if I'm saying of today, New Day will always have a personal connection because of reasons. But if I'm just solely basing it off of just wrestling, FTR is probably my favorite tag team today.
Yeah, but I'm so glad we have them as a tag team right now.
Yes, because boy, that match really is going to make me go back and watch them versus the Briscoes. If I don't watch anything else on Super Card of Honor, it's going to be FTR versus the Briscoes.
I'm telling you. That.
But I love the way Young Bucks tried to use the big rig and everything, and then FTR using the BTE trigger. They not only used the BTE trigger, but then it was like, nah, fam. Then we gonna hit the big rig.
But see, and that's the thing with FTR, because see, with this match, it was more character work than what happened with the Briscoes, because they did the BTE trigger. They did, and I thought they were gonna do the whole BTE trigger, do the whole pose and everything.
Yeah.
But they didn't, and I'm glad they didn't, because it made what happened after that even more just cherry on top. Because after they did the BTE trigger, they grabbed Matt and they did the two cheek kiss.
Yes.
Which I was like, oh, because you wouldn't expect it from them.
No.
And I was like, yeah, okay.
Picked him up, boop, dropped him.
And that's all she wrote. And
yeah. And see, I always appreciate matches that happens like this, because I always appreciate not so much the finisher spam matches, but more the matches where you need to respect your opponent, a la Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. Cody hit that crossroads. No. I'm gonna pick you up for a second. No. I'm gonna get a nod to my father. Then I'm gonna hit you with this third one.
Yeah. And that was that. And even then, I was like, yeah, that was perfect. Because again, didn't expect it. Because I thought after bionic elbow, that was gonna be it. But Cody grabbed him up one time and said, you know what, fuck it, that's it. And then to go into this match, and the same thing, it's just like Bucks with the super kicks and and just teasing everything that they were going to do. And half the time they didn't even get everything off. Yeah.
They virtually did it.
And it's just like tag team wrestling lives and breathes through AEW. And
if a tag team match is popping, I'm always here for a good tag team match.
And they do it so well. I mean, the past 3 years have garnered some of the tag team match of the year candidates strictly out of AEW. And that's not to say WWE and NXT weren't producing anything good. It's just there's such, you talk about character work, ring psychology, in-ring, everything is all encompassing when you get to these matches of AEW. You think about Bucks and FTR 1, you think about Bucks and Omega and Page, you think about FTR versus Omega and Page. It's just on and on and on and on. And it's like, yeah, hell, you think about Proud and Powerful versus Best Friends in the street fight. Like, when's the last time you seen a street fight that fucking good and that emotional? It's like, come on. So AEW's doing it, and I appreciate that they're taking the care and concern, especially with letting this feud breathe to the point to where this is like a year plus out of when they last time they actually faced Bucks. Yeah, man, just keep the shit coming. I'm glad that they didn't overshadow this with the whole Pinnacle stuff going on. So we'll see what happens next week for damn sure. But yeah, AEW, good fucking shit. Even if your show went by and it blew by fast, you had ups and downs. That main event, capping up that main event, and making FTR look as strong as they do, especially with them coming out of a fucking brawl of a match with the Briscoes and have them compete at a high level.
With to go back and watch that.
Yeah, man. Thank you. And I hope that y'all keep pumping out the good shit every week like y'all have been. So keep being consistent.
Well, then, for an episode that I didn't think was going to last as long as it did, we banged out those topics, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Oh, we did. You know how it is.
Yeah, I didn't think we had enough to make it last this long, but hey.
Hey, look, man, the hits keep on coming, and so they know when we got to do something.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna talk about whatever the fuck happens on SmackDown this week. So
yeah, it is a SmackDown after Mania, ain't it? It is.
But yeah,
I totally forgot.
But y'all know what it is. Y'all know what to do. As always, whether you loved it, hate it, don't forget to rate it. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Leave all your comments, concerns, questions down below. Even if you got smoke, I know I ain't said this in a while, but Scoot wants all the fucking smoke. So please go ahead and smoke signals in the comment sections. Hit that notification bell to get updated on everything that we drop each and every fucking week. But most importantly, as Scoot just did, tag that mother effing subscribe button. And but you know what? Me and Scoot here, we gotta warm up, warm it up.
Gotta let you
and then get that bada bam. Now, until you see these handsome faces and hear these immaculate voices, we bid you all adieu. And until next time, you beautiful,
girl. Come out to play. Don't have the bottles, but girl.
That's right. Because the word of the month is transitional.
Girl.
And until
you
next
looking
time,
for
you beautiful mother effers, tag the fuck yeah.
Dollars make a way to make a change. Gotta be insane to make those same mistakes again. So I'm switching lane to lane. Pray to